It's a welcome to this family. It really is a family. Welcome to a very challenging environment, and welcome to a place where you're going to learn and grow and have fun. Training is the most important pillar of any business. If you do not train your staff, you don't have a business.
For any establishment to thrive, the employees or the people that work within it need to know what they are doing, and they need to be able to execute their duties in the best ways possible. And that only comes through knowledge, which is acquired through training.
Culture comes from the way you treat your staff, but it also comes from positive affirmation when it's needed. It comes from pointing out things when they're wrong and for people to learn. Growth is important, and I think there's a huge growth story for most people in the group, especially in Tashas. People have gone from scullers to junior waiters to barmen to eventually GMs. I mean, I always talk about the story of Precious, who used to be a scullery in South Africa, who now runs one of our busiest restaurants here. So growth is important, being remunerated fairly, being heard.
When we come here, we feel like we are home. The service that we give, we try our best, to meet their needs. That is what we do.
People want to learn. They want to improve themselves. Every human being wants to improve themselves. And when you're giving them training and allowing them to go from one level to the next level to the next level, and even if they're not going to get promoted within a year or 2 or 3 or 4, while they're in their positions, if they're learning and they're being challenged, because people want to grow.
We have a connection.
I'd say between South Africa and Dubai, we've probably got over 100 staff who've been with us for 15 years plus. I don't think they'd stay if they weren't happy.
It comes from the heart that you love what you're doing. Especially when you know that I love this thing, you do it from inside. You do it from inside.
To all those new joiners, I'd say it's an amazing family to be part of. Training's intense, and we hope that people will learn and grow. There's a lot of opportunity. We're restaurateurs, and that's what we are. We go to a place, we open a restaurant, we try and serve really good food in a great space. The most important key is, of course, your staff, the hands-on approach. We've got an unwritten rule, and that's just been passed down through the way we've operated and the fact that I'm at every opening for X amount of time. The rule is, you're never going to walk into a store and find the managers and the GM sitting together socializing when the restaurant's busy. In fact, never. They never do. The waiters are always active. The barmen are always doing what they have to do, and everyone's involved. And the full focus is on the customer. How do we make the customer's experience better? How can we be more and more hands-on? And that comes down from the leaders. I walk into a restaurant and I start to get involved. I'm touching the waiter stations. I'm tidying things up. I'm picking up pieces of paper on the floor. I'm walking into the kitchen. I'm checking stuff. Because without the hands-on approach, nothing can work. The other day I had a meeting with all of my GMs and all of my managers, explaining to them the importance of opening their restaurant and closing their restaurant when it's their shift, being there 5 minutes before everyone else is, and leaving 5 minutes later, checking the tomatoes, checking the lemons, checking in the stock, getting involved. Tashas will always be hands-on in every aspect, whatever we do, whether it's working with artisans, whether it's in the kitchens, and whether it's on the floor. Oh my God, the attention to detail. So my mother was a perfectionist. I think detail's everything. I think detail when it comes to cleanliness, detail when it comes to plating, detail when it comes to curating an experience and a concept. I'm a stickler for detail. I say to the guys who operate in the restaurants, if you think that the customer doesn't notice, they do notice. Subconsciously, when you walk into a space that's been well curated, looked after, and there's attention to detail, and that's really important. Tashas is warm and friendly, welcoming, like the spaces are. So even down to that detail, it's got to be perfect.
She's an alchemist. She brings something, takes sand and turns it into gold.
She believes in a lot of things, but mostly she believes in people, and she gives them the opportunity to excel, to be the best version of what they can be. Obviously, all that coupled with support and the structure of the business, it gives you a warm feeling. You feel like home. Everyone is connected to each other in many ways than one. you're coming from home and you're also working at home. The feeling is absolutely amazing.
How are you, my man? How are you? Good, sir. You well? How's it going?
It starts with me, Sava, my brother and I. As people start to work with you, then they mimic your behavior. There's a thing called a mirror neuron. So what we try and do with our leaders is make sure that they're in their restaurants, especially during the openings and especially head office. We're there for a minimum of a month. If you look at the latest opening, we're going to be there for 2 months, day in, day out. So people can start to mimic. So when you talk about an overview and having the ability to see a room and judge everything sort of simultaneously and say, okay, that's wrong, fix this, blah, 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 it comes from practice. You have to have a natural affinity towards it. If you're not a detailed person, then you're going to get placed somewhere else. You might still work in the restaurant, but you might be doing one thing. You're not going to be a multitasker. You're going to have a single focus task. Then the rest comes with practice. And if you work in a restaurant for long enough, you're going to start to realize what you need to pick up and what you don't. But it's everything, from the pitch of the music, to cutlery, to crockery, to the floors, to the chairs being pushed in, to walking into the kitchen, to checking the garnishes, checking the there is a lot. They really romanticize it. It is a tough game. And you've got to love it. You really have to love it.
I think a lot of people come in with the perception that they're going to be the next big thing. I've been working in this industry for 20 years and that's never been my purpose. I've never wanted to be the next big thing. I've never wanted the awards or the glory of it. I really do it just because I'm super passionate about what I do, about feeding people and empowering our staff and making sure that they understand the purpose. For the chefs in our group, it's very important to understand that you have to come with your own purpose. You're working for a dynamic team here to nurture, grow, motivate, mentor. Just come and do the work, graft and be part of, and bring your passion to the plate and to every single thing that you're doing. At the end of the day, it's not just about you or me standing in the kitchen getting frustrated. It's about a bigger picture, a group, a purpose, and most importantly, the guest.
I think joining the Tashas Group is both equally exciting and challenging. The group's changed a lot since the early days, so we only had one brand, Tashas, but the DNA of Tashas has really been imbued into all of the stores, and I suppose is the golden thread that holds everything together. For all the new joiners, I'd say they've got to be ready for a challenge. They've got to understand that the first couple of months is going to be difficult. I always tell people it's like putting on a new pair of shoes. You love them, but they're awfully tight in the beginning and maybe a bit uncomfortable, and then you get used to it. We invest a lot of time and energy into our team, and as we grow, I think that's going to be very important. So to all those new joiners, I'd say it's an amazing family to be part of. I've had people working for me from 1-2 years up until 17, 18 years, who've been with me for 20 years. So there's a big portfolio of brands to choose from when you're joining the company, whether you're joining Tashas, whether you're joining Flamingo Room, Avli, which is the Greek restaurant, whether it's joining Galaxy Bar, Bungalow 34. We've also got Collective in our portfolio, which is retail. Training's intense, and we hope that people will learn and grow. And I think that's also important. We're on a growth journey. We have been. The next couple of years are going to be the biggest growth for the brand. So there's a lot of opportunity. What everyone says about you is that you look after your people. Everyone. And that for me is important.
The spring in her step regardless of the day. Super inspiring, and it makes us all like that in a way.
Yeah, she gets inspiration from the universe. She'll take anything that's in its raw form and create it into a beautiful, sublime creation.
Welcome to the Tashas family.
So I might have the vision, but I'd like to think that I give people the bandwidth to express themselves creatively.
We do it from our hearts.